All right, everybody can see my screen. Wonderful. Okay, great. So paperwork, maybe paperwork best practices. My name is Benny Mizrachi. I'm head of community and growth here at Playground. I really work with all the childcare providers on the ground to provide helpful tips and tricks. 1 second. Just 1 second. I got a notice. All right. Let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about paperwork. What is paperwork? Well, paperwork is what you use to collect all your required data from families. It helps you kind of eliminate liability from yourself and your program and make sure you have all the data necessary to run a smoothly operating childcare program, business, center, whatever you like to call it. Some paperwork, and I think every state faces this, is required by state organizations for licensing and regulation. So you have to collect certain data, for example, such as attendance, child information, guardian information, health information, immunizations, for example. And that needs to be stored somewhere for your childcare business to operate smoothly. So paperwork is something that you as a childcare business definitely need to have down. And the smoother you have it, the easier it is to collect this paperwork from your families, the better you are going to be as a childcare provider. It's going to be smoother for you, smoother for the second. Okay, I am back. Sorry, my Wi-Fi just cut out. Awesome. So like I was saying, Playground allows you to collect all your paperwork and collect digital signatures in one digital solution. It basically becomes a digital filing cabinet for your center. Instead of having paperwork all over the place on the floor in cabinets, in parents' homes and not in your center, Playground makes it all a completely digital experience, 100% paperless. You're able to upload any custom paperwork you may have in your center, and you can assign it to all classrooms, individuals, your whole center, and make sure families see this on their behalf and are able to fill it out all digitally and get it submitted to you. So you're also able to get real-time statuses as this paperwork is submitted, which means you can see when a paperwork has been started, when it's been submitted, when it's not yet completed. And based off of that, you can send reminders to your families saying, hey, this piece of paper is missing, or I need this document before your child can come in, or hey, I need this updated. And then you can also easily search and organize your paperwork either by student or across your center. You can say, hey, I remember John had a document his family submitted. I want to check it out. I'll go to his profile, check out the paperwork, and that's it. I can print everything, view it digitally. It's all available really easily through the Playground app. So why set up paperwork through Playground? We got that. So what makes Playground's paperwork unique? Well, that's a tongue twister. Playground's paperwork. So we have a DocuSign style paperwork feature where you can digitize and upload all your paperwork onto your Playground account. You can set up fillable fields, which means parents are able to digitally fill out these fields, type in their information, and you can also connect these fields to the family profiles, which means data such as names, addresses, birthdays, any specific data that's on a child's account can be pulled into your forms, meaning the parents don't have to go and fill that information out over and over across 10 or 15 different forms. You're also able to collect electronic signatures, meaning parents don't have to print these forms out, sign them, scan them, upload them, and send them over to you. Instead, it's all done online, really simple. And you're also able to easily export and pull reports on all your paperwork. Say, a state agency comes and says, I want to see all your immunization paperwork. You can go to your immunization paperwork, download it as a CSV or as PDFs, and share it with your agency. Again, be sure that your state accepts digital paperwork. We've heard mixed cases. Most tend to seem to accept, but we've heard of some that do not always accept digital signatures. So always make sure to check with your agency. With that being said, let's take a look at how paperwork works within Playground. So this is Playground for those of you who may not have seen this before. This is our admin side of things. where you can see everything that's going on in your school, all your students. Just as a little sneak peek preview, you can see all your students' paperwork in their individual student tab. So you can see what has been not started. For example, this student has not started any paperwork. You can, once they fill it out, or you can fill it out for them, you can go ahead and view that on their profile, and you can download all your paperwork or print it really easily. But let's get into our paperwork feature as a whole. So as a childcare provider, you are going to have to collect the paperwork, like I mentioned before. You likely have paperwork of your own, and you're going to come into the paperwork tab. We offer both student and staff paperwork. You'll go to student state paperwork for all your student paperwork, and we have an overview here just to give you some background. This is where you can see the overview for each individual student. So I can say, for this one student, what's their status on all their paperwork. You can do that for every single student, see if they have all their paperwork completed or no. So they have 7 paperwork assigned, 7 documents assigned to themselves. This one has 6, and they have 0 completed. So none of these students have completed their paperwork yet. With this knowledge, you're able to go to the families, send an email out to a group saying, hey, it's time to submit your paperwork. You're also able to have forms. So a form is, for example, a Google form where you collect data, in input questions, like questions, short questions, long questions, multiple choice question style. Does your child have any allergies? What's your child's favorite song? What's your child's birthday? All that information. And then that is populated into the student profile, automatically building their profile for you and for them without any additional work. We also offer documents, which are PDFs. And these are your typical, emergency information forms. Any specific paperwork that you might have that's a digital PDF, you can upload here and make it fillable. We also have file requests, which means you can upload request photos, PDFs, any digital attachments can be uploaded to Playground by the families for you to check. And we also have a resources tab, which is a read-only resource space for you to put documents that parents don't need to necessarily fill out or sign off on, only just to read and see what's going on. So for example, here in the 2023 and 2024 handbook, you can view this resource. The families are able to view this resource, and everyone's able to be on the same page about what's going on. So this is a great place for you to keep, any center-wide documents for your whole center. All right. So let's get into actually uploading paperwork. Say, the new school year is coming up. You want to upload a PDF. You're going to go, and let's just go again. You're going to go to create. You can create a form, like I mentioned, Google Forms, a PDF, which is a PDF, a file request, which are, the photos or attachments that you want, or the view only resources. So in this case, I'm going to go, let's start off with the form. I'm going to create a new form. I'm going to call this allergy information. And with this, I'm going to ask questions. So I have short text, long text, phone number, email. So let's start off just saying child's name. We'll make this a short answer. Then I'm going to go guardian name, and then we can go guardian phone number. And we can make this a phone number field. We can then also add, for example, does your child have any allergies? And then we can make this yes or no. So yes. Oh. Awesome. So now we have these two, and based off of these 2 questions, we can then add visibility logic. So if a child selects, if you select yes or no, you're able to say, based off of those, I want a different question to appear. If you say yes, you can ask which one are you allergic to, or you can go here and say, tell me about their allergies. You can make this a long text, which means it's a bigger paragraph, and then you can go ahead and preview this. So this is how this form would look like for your parents. This is what they're going to see when they come fill it out. They're going to put their child's name, Benny Mizrachi, put guardian name, Papa Mizrachi, put a phone number. Any allergies? Yes. Peanuts and pollen. And then, I went to our privacy page. Well, this, I guess, is a good chance to tell you about a privacy policy where you could check out as a tab. All the information that's submitted to Playground through paperwork or forms, any digital information we collect is completely private, stored on Google servers. We have no access to it. It's very secure. So that's just something for you to know. So you have this form. This is how the parents will see it on their end. They'll submit, and then you on your end will be able to see who submitted it. You can change the name of the form at any time. You can make this optional, meaning parents don't have to fill it out, but it's an optional form. You can limit it to one response, so they can only fill it out once. You can allow edits to responses. You can also make all new fields required if you would like, and you can add an email for if you want to be notified every time there's a new submission. So I save these changes. This allergy information is now live. We can see 0 families have submitted it. 56 people have not started it. 0 have been submitted. But for example, if say I want to fill it out for one of these children on their own, I want to go ahead and just fill this out with my information. Does your child have any allergies? Yes, peanuts and pollen. So this is now I'm actually filling it out, submitting it. Now you can see the form has been submitted. So Evan Cohen has had his allergy information submitted. You will see that on your behalf. If you put an email, they'll be notified. You can download these. You can also filter these by classroom. So I want to say, hey, I want to look at only the forms for the bunnies classroom, or the bunnies and caterpillars, or the butterflies, for example. Let's see where Evan Cohen is. Evan Cohen is in the tadpoles classroom. So you can see within the tadpoles classroom, one of the students has filled it out. So that's forms. Then we can go ahead and create fillable PDFs. And we have plenty of pre-templated PDFs for many states. For example, California, we have a bunch where you could come and select these, which are usually state forms that are generic to the whole state. You can come and select these, they're already templated out, ready to use. And you can, make any minor changes you may need. And you can choose, the name. You can see a preview of how it would look for families. And these fields all have to be filled out because they're red. A red field means that it's a required field. But let's go ahead and create a PDF of our own. Say we have a custom form that we want to add. I'm just going to go to one that I've checked out here. I want to call this the daycare registration form, because that's what this form is called. And then you're going to go and we have these hotkeys. You can see S, I, D, T, C. Because I want a text field, I want to go right here, hover, click T, populate the text field. And then I'm going to link this to the child's full name. I'm going to make it required and make it a connected form. A connected form means it's pulling the information from the student profile or from the family profile. So I'm going to pull the student's name. I'll say student name. That's going to pull their full name automatically into this form. Then I'm going to put a checkbox, which is a hotkey is C. So I'll put one here and I'll put one here. Now I have 2 checkboxes ready to go. So then I'm going to say another text box for the child's primary care physician right here. I'm going to put another text box for the dentist name. And you can also do Command C, Command V, which is copy and paste, and just copy and paste these fields. And then I'm going to go here, and this is asking for a telephone number. So I'm going to go and put a phone field with P. So you can go here and just template the whole form. What we're doing right now is making this a whole PDF fillable digitally. So parents don't have to print this out anymore. They'll just go in here. And so here we have 2 checkboxes. I'm going to go put a checkbox here and a checkbox here. I'm going to put another text box here, relationship. I'm going to copy and paste this. Copy and paste this. And so slowly you can see we're templating out this whole form so that it's completely digital for families to fill out. This makes it really easy as you go into the new school year to collect all the data you need. This is a telephone number. I'm going to put phone. And then you can decide the name, which we already have set. And then I'm going to say these fields are required. So this is required. This is required. But I'm going to make these all optional. So by turning off the required tab, these are not required fields anymore, which means parents do not have to fill them out to submit. And you can go into all of these. It takes maybe a couple minutes to set each form up, but once you set each form up once, it's really easy for families to submit them, and there's no more work on your end unless you need to update a field or 2 fields. Same with these. So I'm gonna make these all optional. even though honestly, these probably should not be optional. This is required information for the state. So settings, the name is set, and then this is going to be information required to enroll. I want to make this visible to guardians, not visible to teachers. And then I'm going to say I want to get an email every time one of these is submitted. In this case, I don't want to, but if you would like that, you can put that. And this is how the parents will preview this form. So they'll come in, input a child's name, Benny Mizrachi. They can choose a checkbox. They can say, you know, Scripps Clinic. And I'm just putting in, you know, blank text. I'm going to copy and paste this over. But you can see now the parent on their end is able to fill out this form completely digitally, really easily. And I'm going to show you one more thing where if you want to add a signature field, for example, to say, you know, I need proof that this is you signing this off, you can add a signature field. I want to put it at the bottom right. The parents can come in and their signature will appear digitally, which they have saved on their account. So submit, the parents will see a success field. And I'm going to see who I want to share this out with. So I can either share this document out with my whole center, or I can share this document out with specific groups, which means specific classrooms, specific programs, specific individuals even. And I can send them an email reminder saying, hey, this form is now live, time to submit it. And I can say, this is me in the email, please complete this form before next Monday. I'm going to send this with a message. Now all these families will just have gotten an email with a notice linking to them this form. And you can see 0 submitted, 0 in progress, 56 not started. I've shared it with only certain classrooms. So I can also send it to this student and it's not shared with the student. So we need to share it with all the students you want it shared with, and that will make it available for them to fill out. We can also do file requests. So let's create a file request. And I'll say, I'm going to call this COVID vaccine. Even though we're a bit past, I'll just call this flu vaccine. How's that? So photo proof of the. So here you can request, you know, a photo, for example. This file request is now available and I can make it required or not required. And we can make this optional, meaning it doesn't have to be filled out. But if you make it optional, it's not going to count towards the all paperwork completed or not. If it's required, it has to be submitted by the families for all their paperwork to be shown as completed on the overview tab. And then the resources tab, which I showed before, is view only resources. I want to call this, you know, for example, lunch menu. And I want to call this summer lunch menu for 2023. And I'm going to just add in a blank template, for example. These are just some PDFs. Create the resource. Now this resource is completely viewable by our families for them to reference at their leisure. So that is paperwork. If you at any point have more questions, you can always read these articles on how to get started or watch a short video on how to get started. Very straightforward, makes it really easy for you to keep all your paperwork in one place, as I mentioned before. So we can also now look at staff paperwork, which we also offer. Same exact thing, except now it applies to your staff instead of your students. If you need, you know, staff paperwork, which you likely do on, you know, employment information, personal data, allergies, even scheduling preferences, anything you would like to have your staff fill out, you can do that here. So let's make a form for staff if we want. Staff onboarding. And I'm going to have a staff onboarding form. I'm going to say name, phone number, make this a phone field, email, birth date. I'm going to do favorite, Starbucks. And this is in case you want to get your staff, you know, a nice little Starbucks gift. You can do drop down saying favorite color, whatever information you want from your staff. You know, I don't know if you're asking about their favorite color, but we're going to call this favorite color, red, blue, green, yellow, orange, etc., etc. You get the idea here. Now you can see how it looks for your staff to fill it out. They will get this form fill it out. You'll have the data now on your end. And you can see I can only share this with specific staff members if I would like, or everyone across my center. So I'm going to just share it with these 4 or 5 staff members. Now these staff members have it. Save and exit. I can see what the status is on these. So it's not shared with these 5, but it is shared with these 5. And so I can see all my staff as a whole, what paperwork has been submitted, what paperwork has not been submitted. Let's go back to staff paperwork. File requests, resources, same things as before. So that's paperwork as a whole. It's taking a step back. This is going to make it really easy for you to keep everything organized digitally. You can look at your paperwork on your student tabs. So you can go into a student, like I showed you at the beginning, and see all the paperwork they've submitted, any file requests, any forms they've submitted. I want to say, hey, what's the status on Evan Cohen? I want to go and see his paperwork and say, okay, he has these 2 that are in progress and then 4 that are not started. And I can send a reminder or anything I need to do, upload a file for these PDFs. Anything I need to do is very customizable. Same with staff. You can go into individual staff members, see their paperwork, forms. So this one staff member is not filled out his form. Let's fill it out for him just so you can see. So I'm going to call this with my data. And this is my email. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. My favorite color is blue, playground blue. Submit this form. Now it's submitted. Form submitted. Wonderful. And then I can go ahead and view it as a staff administrator. I can view the information they submitted, and this information, will be also available on their profile anytime. That is Playground's paperwork. Tomorrow we will be talking about enrollment, which will be helping you see how to add paperwork within your enrollment flow. So as you intake new families into your center, you can collect any necessary data, paperwork, forms, anything you require to onboard new families or, re-enroll families every year. You can do that through enrollment. And on Wednesday, we will be discussing billing, which is another crucial part of getting set up for success when you go back to school. So that concludes our first day of the Playground Bootcamp, the back to school bootcamp. We really hope that, or I hope that you have seen the value of, having your paperwork centralized and organized in one place. Playground makes it really easy for you to keep everything together. So I hope you guys, use the power of Playground and continue providing us any feedback you want, and have great success in this back to school 2023-2024 year. And as always, we're here to talk. Any questions you may have, I'm going to share my screen again. Any questions you may have, feel free to just scan this QR code. And scan this QR code. You can set up a meeting with us to chat, or give us a call, give us an email. My email is Benny, BENY @tryplayground.com. We respond, within a couple minutes. So we're very accessible and always happy to help you out and run a better childcare program. So yeah, I'm Benny from Playground. Thank you very much for joining, and until tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.